Hi everyone, welcome to our Wednesday webinars. And this week we're going to talk about how to ace your MCQ questions. So everyone knows that in exams, they've increasingly have a section of the exams that are going to be MCQs, multiple choice questions. Now, these are questions that are designed to test your knowledge. And the important thing about MCQs is trying to work out which type of MCQs you've got. Now, there's some, especially where you've got a large number of MCQ questions, maybe, 50 MCQ questions, 40. They're trying to test a broad range of knowledge to make sure that you've understood the whole syllabus. Where you've got a smaller amount of MCQ questions, maybe only 10 or 20, maybe they're trying to test your detailed knowledge on specific aspects of the subject. So as a general rule, lots and lots of MCQ questions, generally trying to test a broad understanding of the subject. Well, you've only got a few. Those are probably going to be the ones that are trying to make sure that you understand the subject in detail. So how's the best way to tackle these MCQ questions? Well, like any question that you've got to do in an exam, the important thing is to read the question. Some of them are quite short, some of them are more detailed. It doesn't matter. The key to getting the right answer is understanding the question. What is the question asking you for? If you don't get that right, then you're more likely to get the wrong answer. So I say attack the question a bit like you would an essay question. Highlight the key words, highlight any key dates, and make sure that when you go to look at the options you've got, you clearly understand what the question is asking. Now, before you even look at the options, I want you to think what you think the answer is once you've read the question, and just jot it down by the side of you. Then I want you to go through your options, and usually there's 4, maybe five options to your MCQ questions. As you go through those questions, it will strike you that certain questions are clearly wrong, and I want you to strike those out. And normally if you've got 4 MCQ questions, there should be at least 2 that straight away you can work out are clearly wrong. Strike them out, don't think about them anymore. Now, quite often, there'll be 2 questions that are very, very similar. And what you're trying to do with those questions is think about which is the right answer. So it's not the time to choose at this stage. Go back to that question, reread it a second time, and make sure that you understand what the question is asking. Then go back to the 2 questions and try to work out which answer provides the best solution to the question. So it may be that there are 2 answers that could be correct answers, but one's a better fit for the question that you're being asked, and that is going to be the answer that you should tick. Now, quite often students will say to me, well, sometimes there's more than one answer. There's like more than 2 answers that I think is right. I actually think all of them sound right. Now, that is a worrying situation to be in, because what that says to me is that you haven't clearly understood the question. So if you're reading a multiple choice question and all of the answers seem to be right, you need to go back to that question and fix your mind on what the question is asking you to answer. There'll be one word that will be the key to that question. Highlight it, circle it, make sure that you understand clearly what that question is asking you, and then look at those answers. You'll see that there is a slight difference in each answer being given. And it's that difference that is the key. It's testing people who have a vague knowledge of the subject to those who know the precise answer. And your job is to find the correct answer. So, key things. Make sure you read the question properly. Make sure you've identified the key instructions that you're being asked for in that question. Secondly, when you go to look at the multiple choice options, delete the answers that are clearly wrong, and you should at least be able to get rid of 2 answers. Thirdly, having identified maybe 2 potential answers, this is a great time to go back to the question and reread it. Find the question key. What is that word? What is that description that is fixing your mind to what the question is asking, and then go back and look at those two answers. See which answer is the best fit. Quite often where you're being asked questions, where you're being asked to advise a client, what is the best advice for a particular client? What gives them maximum benefit? So it may be you've got two similar questions, both answers are potentially correct, but one gives the client a better strategic position. So that is going to be the correct answer. And the important thing to remember about multiple choice questions is definitely take them seriously. It may seem that they're easy and they're quick, but these questions have been designed to test your knowledge, either your detailed knowledge or the broad knowledge you have of a subject. And people have spent a lot of time deciding how to draft that question and the options that it's given you to answer the question. So don't disrespect these attempts at measuring your knowledge. They are serious options to work out what you really do know or what you don't know. Take them seriously. So now it's time for me to open the session to your questions. I hope you found that sort of useful. Let's move on to your questions. So let's see, have we got any questions in the private chat box? This is a great time to send me some. I'm just checking my phone to see if there's any questions for me, because sometimes I don't see the questions. Right, let's see. No, I can't see any at the moment, but I did have some emails that were sent in. Raj says, thanks, Suzanne, for the help. What do you say to people who really don't understand a question when they're doing a long multiple choice question? Okay, so sometimes you get these really long questions and then you've got your multiple choice answers. And these are the multiple choice questions that really trying to test your detailed knowledge. It's like anything that's complicated. Don't just read it, write it down, draw a diagram to work out the fact pattern or the scenario that's been given to you in the multiple choice question. They are complicated sometimes and you won't remember them in your head. So it's a really good idea to draw something out, jot down the key things to help you understand the question. Just reading it once or twice may not be enough to fix the question in your mind. So definitely recommend mapping it out, doing a diagram, anything that really helps you to understand the question, and try and break it down into blocks so that each block of the question you understand what's being said before you move on to the second block and the third block of the question. And then finally there'll be a sentence where it says which would be the best choice for Mary to make, or what is the best advice for David to give to Susan. Whatever it is, that keyword, best advice, best solution, strategy, whatever that word is, highlight that and think about that when you're looking at the answers to the question that you've been given. Okay, Raj, thank you so much for that question. We have a question as well from Samantha. Samantha says, hi, Suzanne, nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Samantha. And thanks for emailing in with a question. Okay, Samantha says, I have a strategy. Okay, I understand this. I have a strategy of answering MCQ questions really quickly and leaving the ones that I don't instantly know the answer to. Is this a good strategy? Samantha, we are all different, and some people like to go through their multiple choice questions, especially if you've got quite a lot of them, and they'll go through all the ones that they can answer very quickly and they know the answer to, don't have to think about. And then all the ones they find difficult, they'll put to one side, because what they don't want to do is run out of time. And I understand that as a strategy. If that's been working for you in the past, then I would say keep doing it. Other people like to go through the multiple choice questions in order, and they like to, if they get one that's difficult, they'll work their way through it. It might take a bit longer, then they'll get ones that they can do quickly, and they'll go on like that. The only thing I'd say is that when you're doing multiple choice questions, you have to be conscious of the time. If you're somebody who goes right up to the wire, there may be a stage where you say, okay, I've got half an hour left or I've got 20 minutes left, I'm going to go through these questions and answer the ones that I know the answers to. And then I'll come back to the ones where I'm struggling or the two that I'm struggling over. That's fine. The thing about multiple choice questions, the more you answer, the better your chance of increasing your average. And if you don't answer a sizable chunk of multiple choice questions, you really bring your average down very quickly. So the important key is to answer all the questions and make sure that you do those within the time. So whichever strategy you find works for you, whether it's answer all of the easy questions first and leave the complicated ones, or just answer them in order because you know you have enough time to answer all the questions, whichever strategy works for you, great using it. So Samantha, thanks for bringing that up. That's wonderful. Okay, let me just check to see if I've got any questions. And I'm just checking on my Facebook, see if I've got any questions. No, we don't have any more questions. Oh, wow. Okay, so that seems to be the end of the session on multiple choice questions. Do let me know if you find it useful. Join us in our Facebook group. And if you're writing your dissertation soon, do pick up my book up, How to Write a LMM Dissertation. Or if you're doing opinion writing, I've got a fantastic book to help you with opinion writing. If you're writing an essay, well, How to Write a First Class Essay. All of these books you'll find on my website, www.inspiredtostudy.org. I will see you next Wednesday. Have a fantastic week. Bye, everyone.